The 17th century satirist Alexander Pope once wrote, "'Tis with our judgments as our watches. None go just alike, yet each believes his own." In poets, as true genius is but rare, true taste as seldom is the critic's share. Both must alike from heaven derive their light, those born to judge, as well as those to write. As long as people have been creating works of creative expression, others have sought to measure and compare what about them we find so compelling and so evocative of intense emotions. Some, like Immanuel Kant, have tried to do this by creating an overarching general theory of beauty that we can apply equally to everything we see as beautiful. But this sort of rigid taxonomy not only winds up being headache-inducingly complicated to describe and understand, but takes some of the fun out of experiencing beauty by turning it into a scientific series of chemical and psychological reactions with set parameters. Even then, general theories of beauty don't do much to describe the variable intensity of our experiences with beauty, or explain why we enjoy some works of art more than others. Walter Pater's 1873 book, The Renaissance, offers a different perspective with his description of the aesthetic critic. Pater says, an aesthetic critic's job is to expose themselves to beauty as often as possible and scrutinize it intensely so they can get good at breaking down what about a particular piece makes the critic feel that it is beautiful. To take this influence he feels and wishes to explain by analyzing and reducing it to its elements, and recognizing each element is valuable for its unique virtues, for the property each has of affecting one with a special impression of pleasure. Aesthetic critics don't aim to describe what beauty is or how it affects everyone, but to point out what about a particular painting, or movie, or song, or whatever, makes them like it, and what about their personality and state of mind makes it so appealing to them at the moment. They aim to take a special impression of beauty or pleasure to indicate what the source of that impression is and under what experience it is experienced, and note it for himself and others. Not only is this kind of criticism more accessible and relatable for average people, it's also extremely popular. Just take a look around YouTube and you'll notice the place is lousy with folks reviewing music, movies, books, theater, video games, food, weird toys from the 80s, computer viruses, other reviews, pretty much anything you could possibly imagine. And they all do it in an aesthetic way. They look for aspects they enjoy, break down why they enjoy them, and share them with us to give us a better understanding of why we like those same things. Often, they do so in a way that tries to recreate some of those enjoyable aspects. They attempt to induce a similar mindset in the audience by exposing them to an example of the aspect they were describing in order to create a similar reaction within the audience. They attempt to induce a similar mindset in the audience by exposing them to an example of the aspect they were describing, almost like a proof of concept about whatever quality of a piece they're describing, or a litmus test for the audience to gauge if they would be interested in sharing the experience being described. They even give us a look at the inverse, breaking down aspects that give us negative emotions and interpreting them through states of mind that contribute to those reactions.
Design, I would rate it not worse than Cats 2019. In fact, maybe better.
Really?
Because he has a cat face.
That's fair.
And they don't in Cats 2019.
They have human faces.
They have a crazy human face with cat ears.
Did they have...
Interestingly enough, the only people approaching criticism in the Kantian style are videos trying to explain Kant's theory of judgment and beauty to other people. Pater's idea of aesthetic criticism complements the way we naturally experience beauty instead of trying to universalize subjective reactions like Kant. It does this by sidestepping the big metaphysical question, what is beauty, entirely, by saying it really doesn't matter. We know what beauty is when we see it. It enriches our lives and makes us happy every time we experience it. Our only real difficulty lies in understanding exactly what about a beautiful thing we're experiencing makes us feel so passionately about it. Once we have a grasp on that, it's our responsibility as aesthetic critics to share that knowledge with others in an understandable way. We don't do this because what we're saying is absolutely true. We do it because it gives our audience a chance to look through our eyes, listen with our ears, and experience the feelings that delighted us for themselves. What is important, then, is not that the critic should possess a correct abstract definition of beauty, but a certain kind of temperament, the power of being deeply moved by the presence of beautiful objects. He will remember always that beauty exists in many forms. In all ages there have been some excellent workmen, and some excellent work done. The question he asks is always, in whom did the genius, the sentiment of the period, find itself? The ages are all equal, says William Blake, but genius is always above its age.